since then, I've started 18 businesses. 20 businesses.
Right.
18 of them have failed miserably.
Isn't that crazy?
But every single one of them have been opportunities for me to learn.
Why? Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Dr. Crockett Show. I'm your host, Dr. Susan Crockett. And the title of this show may be a little surprising to you because I think it's a little bit different than most New Year's shows. This one is Happy New Year. B+ is good enough, baby. That's what we're doing today. So I, like a bunch of you, am coming off of the Christmas holidays. This is actually getting filmed on December 26th. I just had an amazing holiday celebration with my family, but I spent 5 days getting ready for Christmas and cooked all the meals, and it's awesome having my 4 mostly grown kids home. And y'all, can you hear my voice? It's B+ today. And we were supposed to do this big shoot with all of this New Year stuff and all the stuff we're going to do. And I'm just kind of almost on empty. So guess what we're doing? We're doing B+ is good enough. And we're actually going to show you an episode that we shot earlier in December with my really good friend, Darren McMaster. It's called Entrepreneur Inspired. The cool thing about this video is Darren and I are both entrepreneurs. He was one of my first 5 guests that we interviewed when we first started filming the show in the middle of the summer last year. And there were 2 episodes that I completely messed up when I was doing the uploads. See, my voice is B+. It's maybe C now, and that's okay because we're still getting it done. So it's not about the perfectionism. It's about getting it done, having the relationship, having the communication, just like your resolutions. Like we don't make resolutions to be perfect. We make resolutions to give ourselves a goalpost to move towards. And then the point is just continuing to move and take the next step and do the B+ work and not worry about it being perfect. And in the imperfection, sometimes we find perfection. Well, anyway, I digress. So we're going to actually show you Darren's episode. The first time we filmed with him, I lost the video. So I got ready to upload everything to our producer and couldn't find it anywhere. I had the audio because we record our video on one camera and our sound on a sound disc. And so it took me 5 months to get him back in the studio where we had time together to shoot an episode together. And we did that on December 7th. And we used the framework from the audio from the original show. And the second one was even better. It was amazing. And we got to the end of it. And guess what? The audio didn't record. So I have the filming that's on the video card, and we have the ambient mic, which is kind of the sound from the room mic from the camera. That's the backup sound on it, but the mics from here didn't record. So I'm sorry about the sound effect being a little bit different on that one. I'm sure my audio guys from Digital Freedom Productions are going to do a wonderful job on making it sound as close to this as they can. But we thought about not airing that show at all. And then we decided, no, you know what? Part of life and entrepreneurialism and moving forward, whether it's with your New Year's resolutions or your business or your relationships, part of it is just doing the work, accepting the B+ and moving forward anyway. And that's part of the creative process, is what you do with things when they don't go perfect. So that's what today's episode is, literally. So y'all enjoy. I am really excited today to have my really good friend Darren McMaster here with me. Welcome, Darren.
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
Y'all, I can't lie. I can't hide this from y'all. This is actually a reshoot, which is so much fun. And I wasn't going to tell y'all that at first, but we've had so many upgrades and improvements that I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, take 2.
Take 2. Did you notice my cute little gnome?
I just saw that.
He's lit up because it's almost Christmas time.
Perfect time, yeah.
So the first time we did this shoot was in July.
Yeah.
And
wow, has it been that long?
It's been that long. It's been 5 months.
Yeah. Well, you're busy.
And so are you, Mr.
Yeah,
Serial Entrepreneur.
That's true.
So the first shoot we did, and it was really great. And it was only like the 4th or 5th shoot that I had done. And the audio we captured beautifully because it's on its own little Zoom SD card. And guess what, y'all? I lost the video. I went back to upload it, and I had accidentally cleared the disk or something, and it was gone. And so we've been trying. I'm so sorry, Darren.
That's okay.
We've been trying for this many months now to get back into the studio. And so the cool thing about coming back and doing this a second time is we went back and listened to the audio about the things that we thought were important then. And we've had this nice little conversation downstairs. And now we're able to bring in a little bit more of what's been going on. And so this is a really special thing for me.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's fun being able to do it again after we just went back through it. I thought the previous one was good. So let's see if we can
get going.
Yeah, we can replicate that.
Yeah, so I know Darren and his wife, Kelly. Kelly is a rep for a product that I use in my operating rooms, and Darren is the co-creator and founder of an app called SurgerEase that I use for my surgery scheduling, and it is just the most amazing thing in the world. And
thank you.
Yeah, it's so cool. I don't know what I'd do without it at this point. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but we thought we would start today. We wanted to talk about entrepreneurism. And specifically, I want to encourage our listeners who are thinking, you know what? The economy's hard, inflation is going up, I'm feeling the squeeze. I want to figure out how to bring more revenue or more abundance into my life. Well, that whole abundance thing could be lots of different conversations, right?
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode. But we thought we would do this episode and just encourage them. And so we're going to start with a little bit of background on both of us, because we both had way too many businesses started. So, Darren, why don't you tell me a little bit about your early background into entrepreneurism?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's been a long time that I've been on the business side of starting businesses, and we'll get into that. My very first business that I ever created was actually at the age of 13. It was my first experience in entrepreneurism.
This was what, junior high?
Junior high.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I was in junior high. One of our friends had a wholesale business.
A wholesale business. What's that?
So he was basically buying product in bulk, and then he would then sell it at retail in eaches.
So he would buy it at a low price because he was buying wholesale, and then he would mark it up and provide the distribution, and so he would make a profit on the markup on the...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so I had numerous discussions with him because I wanted to, just learn about the business and how he was making money, because it's always intrigued me on how people make money over and above just earning it from a job.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
And so I went to him and I said, so tell me some of the stuff that you're selling and what's working. And ironically enough, the big seller at the time, and I'm going to totally date myself here, is banana clips.
Like the hair clips?
The hair clips that girls wore in the 80s.
Yeah, cool.
And so I went to him and I said, can you get me like a couple packs of those? And I'm going to go sell them. And so I bought 2 packs of maybe 50. Put them on my backpack, went to school, and we started walking the halls.
You're like, hey, baby.
I got banana clips. Who wants banana clips? And I sold out. I sold out the banana clips.
Like,
it was a couple days, but
yeah.
And that was my first time that I really went through and said, "Wow, this is fun." Like I enjoyed the entire process of, number one, making money, but number two, pitching something to somebody, getting somebody to buy from you, and that whole component kind of hooked me into kind of the art of selling.
Yeah.
So that was my first real entrepreneurial adventure.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about mine. I, like you, have started quite a few businesses over the years, and one of my first ones was in like 2004. I actually took a year off of medicine.
Wow.
And to be a stay-at-home mom, and that was like a massive fail because, I mean, I love my kids.
It wasn't a massive fail.
It was a flop.
You have awesome kids.
I have awesome kids. They are incredible kids. And I think it was an important experience for me to try to do that. But I just found myself getting into all kinds of other things to do. And back then, I was into Creative Memories, which is a scrapbooking company. And this was before digital media really took off. It was kind of on the cusp of it. And I would get together with some of my besties. In fact, I just had a birthday this week, and 6 of those same besties took me out for dinner. So
it's your 35th birthday.
It was my 35th birthday, yes. Plus a few. But it was just really special to me to have friends from that last that long, yeah. And it's really cool. So those were my scrapbooking friends. And when we were that age, we had young kids, and we all were into photography, and we would do these beautiful scrapbooks and go on retreats. And the scrapbooks were cloth, and you could have them imprinted with foil imprints, like, like old books have the titles on the spines or the year.
Exactly.
And on the front of them, you could do a design, and that was called a die. And there were very few people creating the dies, and Creative Memories didn't have that many. And so I noticed that this was the onset of forums in the internet that was pretty new. And I had access to other die imprinters, and we were kind of on this list where we were talking about imprinting, and I realized I had a market. And so I learned how to create the dies using vector graphics, and I would take the orders and I put them into this huge vector graphic design, ship it off to the die maker. I found the die maker, and then they would create the metal dies and send them back to me for the foil imprinting, and I would box them up and ship them out. So I took my wholesale wasn't like yours. It was like create the product, do a markup so that I have some profitability in it, and provide a service to it.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I needed to talk to the manufacturer about something, and they were, I called them on the phone, and they were talking to me like, "Who are you? What's going on?" And like, "Did you know that you're like the 10th biggest die distributor creator in the country?" And I was like, "No, I'm just a housewife in Texas, And what I'd done is figured out scaling without really realizing what it was. And I'd hitched into some new tools that were available. And all of a sudden, me by myself could be like the 10th largest die creator in the country.
It was you and Amazon.
Me and Amazon right there. So anyway, that was a fun one. I eventually sold that business and went back into medicine because it's what you calling, right? It's like fixing people or creating dies. They were
because you're really, really good at the medicine one. So
yeah. So that was one of my first forays into entrepreneurship. I had lots of other businesses that I tried and failed, like lots of different iterations that just didn't work out. And I know you did too. I wanted to talk a little bit about how you started, because I think one of the biggest thing people fear is getting started and jumping into it. And so tell us a little bit about how, aside from the banana clips, because you went from banana clips to medical sales and then SurgerEase, like little So what made you decide to go that route?
So I started after junior high into high school. My job in high school, really into college, was working at Kiko's Copies. Everybody knows it now as FedEx office.
Right.
I was the night manager. I would come in at basically 3 p.m. I'd work till midnight, and then I would turn around and actually go to school the following day. I learned then that I was making a whole lot of money for somebody else, and I didn't want to continue to do that forever.
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea of working for somebody else and making them a ton of money. How can I do this?
How can I be on the other side of the
Correct. Yeah, I wanted to be the business owner as opposed to the employee. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to make that transition than really the people on the internet tell you, right?
Yeah.
And so I've started since then. I've started 18 businesses. 20 businesses.
Right. 18
of them have failed miserably.
Isn't that crazy?
But every single one of them have been opportunities for me to learn.
That's fail forward, right? Fail faster, learn faster, do the next iteration.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so that transition from not having an idea, building the business, and then having it not work has always been one of the things that's motivated me to go to the next opportunity. Essentially,
it's interesting that you say that it motivates you, because a lot of people try once and then it doesn't work out and they give up. Right. So that's a mindset. That's a mindset going into it where you're like, I'm going to figure this out. Whatever doesn't work, I will figure it out the next level and keep going.
Right.
But during all of those iterations, you had to have had some kind of sustenance behind it, because to just leap out and have a failure and not have a revenue stream develop when it's your only revenue stream.
Yep.
Most people try to do it that way.
Yep.
And it is scary and it doesn't work, although that fire in the belly for having to make it work sometimes drives us to work harder at it.
Yeah.
But most of the time when I've started businesses, they've been side hustles.
That's exactly right. And pretty much all of these have been side hustles. So when I first got married, prior to marriage, I started one of my side hustles was designing websites. And this was back at a time when I had to explain to people what a website was,
right?
Why they needed a website. I would go and meet with a company, and they wanted me to figure out how to get them on the AOL thing.
Oh, my
And so that's how long ago it was.
Wow.
And so one of the companies that I did a website for was a medical device company. And when I first started with them, I did the website, sold them on it. Afterwards, they're like, "You're pretty good at this. You want to come sell for us?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you guys pay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'll take it."
Cool.
So that was my entrance into the medical device side. Working on the medical device side has been a true blessing because I work with a bunch of great people and a bunch of great companies and obviously a bunch of great doctors. Through that, I've had the opportunity within each of those to have the freedom to be able to start side hustles, because pretty much every one of those were commission-based businesses. And so that's what I want. I wanted to be able to make an unlimited, don't cap me on my commission. Let me go sell, let me go hustle.
Yeah.
I get to keep the revenue out of that. But at the same time, because of that, it gave me the freedom to be able to create these side hustles. And that's the best way to start a business, is to obviously generate enough money for you, your family, raise a family, kids, house, all that. But then it also gives you the freedom to be able to create a side hustle.
Yeah. Super cool. So your two primary businesses now that haven't failed. One is the SurgerEase.
Correct.
And the other is the medical device company that you do for orthopedics.
Correct. Yeah. So I've been in the orthopedic side now for 25 years. And just been again, really blessed to be able to work with great doctors and provide for my family. MedX was an opportunity that I had about 10 years ago. And since then, I've had the opportunity to actually buy the company.
Wow.
And so because of that, I now run MedX with a business partner. And we work with physicians across the state in orthopedics. And that was really the advent for SurgerEase being the side hustle. I really had, there was a need within the market to be able to create a shared surgical calendar.
Yeah. We
had people all over the state trying to find and chase down surgical cases that, as you know,
it's very complicated.
Canceled, had moved, get changed facilities, and we're sending people and resources all over.
Yeah. So, and just to give you all a little bit of background, in my office, when I see a patient and decide they're going to have surgery, I give an order to my surgery scheduler, and then she sets in place all the insurance authorizations. So she's dealing with insurance companies. She's dealing with the patient directly. She's dealing with the hospital for surgery scheduling. She's dealing with all the reps that have to come in for the special equipment, my assistant, and the OR itself. So there's this whole slew of people just for one case, and I book 5 to 6 cases a day now. 4 to 5 is probably a reasonable bet. Can you imagine all those points, those moving points? So like about 10 points per patient.
Yeah.
And if you move one thing, the old way of doing it was by hand, where she would have to pick up a phone and call everybody and move them. And if you moved one patient, you had to call all the points on all the other patients around it. Right. And so when your product came along and had that all on an app where we could just tweak it and send an email or text to everybody and have everything notified at once, it's a game changer for being able to handle all of the detail of the scheduling. It's an amazing app.
Thank you.
We're going to put the links down below, by the way.
Awesome. Yes. So that entire business model, again, as with all of them, is a challenge. It's everybody who starts a business has a fear of starting a business.
Right.
And fear plays a huge role in taking people who could be great entrepreneurs and ending it there. Because they have a huge fear of starting, of the what other people might think.
Right.
And so being able to overcome that fear is a big step in trying to start that next side hustle.
Yeah. So the fears of starting, failing, and what other people think are the three big fears. And so that goes to mindset about money and being able to manage your mind around money. We actually have a really good episode. If y'all haven't seen it, I think it's the 3rd episode with Hugh Hale about the emotions of money. And so if you're looking for some help in figuring out how to be steady through the ups and downs of navigating some of this and be grounded in that, that's a really good episode to go watch. But the fear of starting, failing, and what other people think will knock everybody who's not prepared for it down, right? So it's important for us to develop those mindsets. And so what mindsets are you using to overcome those fears? Why does that not bother you anymore?
I think that's the the big issue. I don't know. I really don't know. I've always not been afraid of what other people think. And so I've always been, let's just go do it. Like, it's just a mindset of, I like this idea. Let's try this idea. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
I've got an awesome wife who
She is awesome.
Right.
I love Kelly.
For the last 25 years, I'm always coming to her with, hey, I got an idea.
Yeah.
And so I'll pitch her my ideas. And if I either get the thumbs up or the thumbs down, that kind of gives me a direction on whether we're going to do it or not.
It's awesome.
But
you're such a great team.
thank you. Yeah, I believe we are too.
Yeah.
But it's working through that initial. I've never been afraid. I've never had the fear of what other people think of me, and I've never had the fear of failing, even though it happens all the time. And so
I have. So, when I started the show, it started originally as a podcast during COVID in 2020, and it was from the life coaching education that I was doing, certification. And the very first podcast, y'all can go listen to it. Episode 1 is it's on just that, like how to start, like overcoming the fear of starting. And I talk about, I've never been on a public platform like this before, and just the fear of stepping into the arena, and what's the backlash going to be? What are other people going to say? And then changing that mindset into, hey, I'm a podcaster now.
Right.
And then when we started the video show for the Dr. Crockett show, which is added onto that now, that was another big step up, because now it's not just what other people are hearing. It's like the whole judgment of what we look like, and
right.
and what are people going to say? And I have carried that. I've done a lot of work on that in my life, as a matter of fact. And so for me, it's just getting to the point where the idea of serving people with the message is greater than my fear of what people are going to say or think.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. I think you hit it on the head. It's a change of mindset.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah. So the starting thing is you just have to take that first step. The fear of failure is the other mindset that I've done a lot of work on. Being somebody that's a high achiever and type A personality, I was like that straight A geek at school. Like, I didn't fail. And when I started working on businesses and having them not work, and having things in my life not always work, that was a rude awakening to me as a high achiever. And so overcoming that fear of failure and turning it into the mindset of, well, that was just a yes or no, does it work or not kind of thing, neutralizing that as a kind of a yes, no switch.
Yep.
Yes, it works. Keep doing it. No, that didn't work. Replace it with something else.
Right.
Pivot.
Yep.
And that's a constant thing in business. Like,
absolutely.
You think that you get your business going and the revenue stream's going, and then bloop, something happens.
We're in the process of that right now on both companies.
Yeah.
We're heading in a specific direction. Something within the market changes.
Yeah.
You get another opportunity, and you have to be able to go, okay, this actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
And be able to turn on a dime and make a pivot and continue on.
Yeah, I think that's critical. And so it's so inspiring to be able to sit down and have a talk with you. That's why we call this Entrepreneur Inspired, right?
Well, yeah, we would do this all the time.
Yeah.
It's every time we would see each other, we're like, hey, I got an idea. What are you doing?
Yeah, in fact, I got one to share with you after here.
Yeah.
But first, I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Absolutely.
And thank you for just the amazing discussions that we have together, and for your friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming back and doing this as a second take.
Absolutely.
That's just,
Are we going to do a third?
I hope not. I hope it came out great. Thanks, you guys. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And leave me a note in the comments. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, and what you want to hear me talk about next, because it's coming up. Y'all take care. I'll see you next Tuesday.